everyone, George Packard, Family Lawn and Landscape, and today I'm taking you along with me on a project where we are going to put in a circular, well, not even a circular, it's kind of a weird half-ass circular patio around this fire pit. Come with me and I'll show you what we're going to do. Why are you even in the picture?
Because I was doing with the chain and he had already started recording, so I decided.
Why don't you get out of the picture?
I tried, but
get out of the picture. Get out of the picture.
Turn the camera the other way. Get me out of the picture, cameraman.
Yeah, all the time. Listen. All right. So we have a very tight quarters down here. If you can see, if you can look this way, where we are just jammed in here. This is working on lake properties. It's kind of a bitch because you run into this all the time. We're fighting with the neighbors. We're fighting for space, you know, because everybody sells every square inch, you know. So basically, in this area, down by the lake, of course. All right, so the whole idea is to work around this guy's pit. He wants this kept where it is. So what we're going to do, come in and excavate this area, and it's going to come out like this, like about 6 feet, I think it is. I have to check the paperwork, but then it just swoops around like this. So it's kind of like a half moon almost, and it's going to end right in here. So things that we have to do, we have to get in here and we got to start digging out some of this embankment because it goes up like this. We're probably going to hit tree roots and whatnot, which is the reason for bringing the chainsaw along so we can cut those things out. And once we get this area out, and we got to get it down so we can get at least 6 inches of base underneath our patio, we'll get rid of all this debris, bring in our base material, get that squared up, leveled off, get it compacted, and then start throwing brick. So let's see, that being said, I think we have some mulch we got to drop for the guy up here, and we also have some rocks. We want to pressure wash these rocks off. So what's happening, you get a lot of this mold. They want to clean them up a little bit just to kind of spruce the place up. So we brought a pressure washer and we're just going to clean these rocks and we're going to add a few wherever they're missing. So that being said, let's get at it. Base material, getting that out of here. So now we got to get that over into that hole once we get done. So one of the things that I didn't really plan on, I guess, was all these tree roots that are all over underneath this thing. So as we start to carve this stuff away, we're just going to hit all these tree roots, and of course I didn't bring an axe with me. So what we're going to do, we're going to disassemble this thing, which I didn't want to have to do, but we're going to now. And we're just going to get it out of the way, and we can just bring it back and put it back together when we're done. It's like 2 or 3 different sizes or whatever, but 2 sizes it looks like. And it'll be out of our way so we can scoop this whole thing out. So otherwise we're just going to waste a lot of time in here trying to cut this with a chainsaw and this, that, and the other. So let's just get it out of here. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, let's get working. Let's do something. Act like we're doing something around here before we get fired. All right, so as I was saying, we're not going to remove this fire pit. What we're going to do is we're going to work around it. So I'm going to see if the homeowner, Bob, has an axe. Okay, so now we've made a mess here. What we're going to do is we're going to run this plate compactor over the top of our sub base down here, compact this down, take it around 2-3 times, beat it up pretty good, and then we'll be able to start putting our base in, which at that point is just going to be like 3 inches at a time, and just smooth it off, level it off. Then we'll start driving some stakes, running a string line, making sure we're level, using the laser, all that good stuff. We'll get to that in just a second here. Now we're going to drive some stakes, and then we're going to run a string line and figure out where we need to be. Ta-da! Now we've got the sub base compacted down. We dug it down like 3 frickin' times. Now we have it where we want it, where we can get at least 6 inches of base material in here. And my only concern is how am I going to get it over there? Now we're going to be using the limestone screenings, which are over there, and we use those a lot because they pack up hard as a rock. But my question is, for my angle, it's like I can only get so far. It's like I got to stop right here. So I have an idea. I'm going to see if I could chuck it, believe it or not, with the skid steer up there. This ought to be interesting. I'm always up for a challenge. I do like challenges. All right. Reason being, because I cannot drive across all those. We have everything staked off. I have everything with the string line where I need it to be. So therefore, I don't want to drive on it. So I got to find a way to get it launched. Okay, that did not work exactly as I had planned. Oh. Shovels, anyone? I guess we'll do some shoveling. Let's do some shoveling, as they say in Ireland. Shovel. Yeah, okay, let's go shovel. Because that's what we're going to have to do, because I can't launch it any farther than that. Dude. We're almost got this leveled off. So what you want to remember when you are leveling these off, you want to make sure you get this string so it just bounces. So it's just a hair beneath, that your base is just a hair beneath that string. All right, that needs to be staying on top and not resting on top. All right, so if it's resting, you got a little high spot like that. I'm going to take that out so I have that little sliver inch, or look, not an inch, just like 1/8 of an inch of play there to work with. So now running your string actually helps you see where you're low, where you're high. So that's just the way I guess I've always done it. I know there's other ways, and screeding, you know, is another way to do it, but this is kind of a weird shape, you know, it's kind of a half circle thing. I know Jeremiah would call it a semi-sphere, or what did you call it?
Semicircle.
Semi-sphere, that's not what you said. Alright, so now we had a ripcord break on our compactor. Jeremiah is piecing back together, hopefully. Oh yeah. And then up on us. Such a punk. That thing is a beast. How's it going? Steady. All right, so if you're in the landscaping business, you better get used to working on recoils like that, because you're breaking them all the time. You're forever and a day pulling and reefing, and the ropes get bad or dinged or nicked or whatever, and before you know it, they snap. So get used to fixing them. I think he's just about got this one back together. All good?
All good.
Jeremiah, I don't care what they say. You're a handy guy to have around once in a while.
Once in a while.
Not often.
Not at all. Just once in a while.
Once in a while. All right, that being said, we're getting very close to having our grade here. And once you get close, once you get to the point where you're gonna have just a little bit, where you just have, you know, just a little bit of a high spot here that you have to take out, because remember, you want that string to just bounce on top of that on your base, okay? Now, once you get to that point, you're done. You know, once you've compacted this, like right now, we've got a little low spot over in the corner over here, so we add a little more base to it. We're gonna hit it again, and as soon as that's done, we're ready for pavers. What we're doing now that we've got that, got the base in, base is done, and now I'm going to put these handy dandy knee pads on, and they are handy dandy. They do help a lot, tremendous amount. What I like about them is they don't fall down. When you put these things on, they don't slide down on your knees like some of those other ones do. So these are pretty nice, actually. I like them. I think they were like 40 bucks or something. Get the hang of them. There. All right. So base is in. Now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna start laying pavers. And to do that, first thing I'm gonna do, take this edging, lay this across, just to come up with a line, like where I want to start, where I want to be. Of course, my guys put the pavers right where I want to be. So I'm thinking, if I get this somewhat, here, don't hurt yourself over there, Jeremiah. Try not to. Get these over here, and then, does that look about straight across?
Yes.
Pretty close?
Pretty close.
Pretty close? Even if I bring it back here a little bit.
Then we're off here.
Too far?
Yeah.
That look all right?
Yes.
Because remember how this is going to go. It's going to start here, and it's going to go around like this, okay? So, I think the best way to do this is to just start with our pavers right here, and then just start going around with them. So on and so forth. Like that. So, now, I can look down my line here and kind of vary it. We can just keep going right around this thing. And then after we get the pavers down, then we're gonna put sand on them, sweep it in the joints, then we're gonna put our edging in, which is these pieces, snap those in with hammer and spikes, and then after that's done, run a compactor across them to finish pounding them in. All right, so that they're set. Right now, I mean, you can walk on this. This is hard. This is hard as a rock, you know. So, which is good, which is the way we want it to be. So, that being said, I'm just gonna keep coming around this thing. Just keep your joints tight. Obviously, you're gonna have gaps here and there, but just keep your joints tight as you go around it and try and disperse it as evenly as you can, I guess, would be what I would say. I'm mainly filming just so I don't have to carry brick.
That's what Jeremiah does.
That is what he does a lot, isn't it? This is the A-team working here, believe it or not.
When is it my turn to film?
Your filming is done. Last time you forgot to turn on the audio button, so
That was last year.
doesn't matter, I never forget. Okay, so now, as he's got this started going around, now it's time to start making some cuts. So you come over here, you can see what I'm doing. This is how I do it. I lay it on here and I look down at that. I look at this edge right here, okay? Make sure it's up there tight. So just this side of it. And then that's my junk piece. So I know that. Come over here to our saw. Now what you do here, now this is a clipper saw. You're on the wrong side, of course, but whatever, it's a clipper saw. It's a very nice saw. Make sure Alright, so now we have our water, which aids us in the cutting of the brick, keeps this wheel cool down so it doesn't get so hot, and it controls the dust that's flying around from this thing. So now, if you can look down this and see what I see, what you want to do, keep your finger away from this trigger. That's why the guard's there generally. And I always butt one end of it up against this plate, and I kind of guide, see where I got to hit both of these lines, okay? As soon as that's set, lock it in place firmly, turn it on, and just take a little bit off at a time. Right in like a glove. Perfect. All right. So that's how you cut a brick. Now grab your next one, or I could use a piece off of that one probably. Try and use as much of your brick up as you can. You don't want to just throw away this whole piece. I mean, you've got two sides you can cut off of, and that's just a sliver in there. Just a sliver piece. Boy, that is really small. Right. Okay, so now that we've gotten this, we're almost done. I think Cole's cutting the last brick or two over there. And what we're going to do now, we're going to take some of the base material that we have on the outside, because we have such deep cracks inside of this. You just throw it out and then take a broom and sweep it in. And this is going to help sturdy this patio right up, okay? Then we're going to go with the polymeric sand over the top of that. Once we run a compactor across this, that's really going to shake this stuff up, and a lot of this is going to fall down in. And that's when we're going to put our polymeric sand on and finish it off. But because we have such massive gaps, you'd use 20 bags of polymeric sand trying to fill those gaps, so we don't need to do that. We have the base material, works great for sturdying this up. You get those huge cracks, just pour it in, fill them about halfway or 3/4 of the way. I'll take a blower and blow out some of these, just got a little too much in it. And then that'll sturdy them right up. Okay, so now, got these 8-inch spikes and your paper restraint edging. Now's the time to put this outside edge in, okay? I can see I'm gonna have to do a little bit of digging right there, but shouldn't take but a second. Spread these guys out. Let me get a hammer. And I don't put, they've got holes in here for every one. I don't put every one in. I just don't, I think it's a waste. So what I wanna do is lock it in with the other edging You can see down here, you have to get this down a little bit in there. This is going to have to get dug out in order for that to fit. So, dig that out a little bit. Get my edging in here. Dirt off of here. So, now, bust that up tight against your other edging. Alright, so every other one. And then hold it tight against your brick. So on and so forth. Just like that. The reason you don't put this stuff in ahead of time is you're going to have little twists and turns that you got to try to get out as you go, and if your edging's there, you're just going to make more cutting for yourself, which you don't need to have. And this will help secure this outside edge from the pavers just coming out. If you didn't have this edging holding them in place, when you walk on these, they can always shift on you and just keep moving, so we don't want that. So, all right, so if you can take a look at this. Now I'm coming up here with my last strip of edging. What you do, hold everything tight to the brick, get up here, make your mark. I know I got to be right about in there. And take your 2-3 cuts, and then you'll have her. Put that out of the way, and have this thing right where you need it to be. That's that. Now we can start filling the joints some more. We're going to blow out like Cole right now. He's going to blow this out so that we maintain about a half inch probably, or a little under that, so that when we put our polymeric sand on, we're not trying to fill all this joints, 3 inches deep. So go ahead, Cole, blow the rest of that out of there. All right, so now that we've got that done, if you look down on the joints, you can see how they're like half filled up here, all right, with our base material. That'll really help sturdy them up. I swept off the debris from the top. Now what we're going to do is run a compactor just one time across this thing. So Cole, give me a hand. Let's lift this up here. So, put it right on there. All right. Now, when you use this compactor, make sure you go evenly across this thing. Don't go 3 times in one spot, twice in one spot, once in one area. It's one time all the way around this. That's all you have to do. And you'll see how this shakes it up, and it compacts that stuff even more. So, and I'll run it a second time after we put the polymeric sand on. So, what this does is takes out any impurities. If you have a little bit of brick sticking up on one end or the other, the least bit, when you run that solid steel plate compactor across it, it levels those right out. So now it's smooth all the way across this. So you don't catch on anything. Takes out the impurities. So that being done, now we're going to take our polymeric joint sand. The reason we use that is because once it's treated, like you'll spread it in the joints, you water it like 3 times. Wait 15 minutes, water it the first time. Let me back up. Put the sand in, sweep it all off, nice and clean, water it. Wait 15 minutes, do it again. Do that 3 times with the watering, okay? And then that stuff will turn into a hard mortar okay? Doesn't get as hard as concrete, but it helps a lot. Helps stabilize the bricks, and it helps keep the ants from grabbing all that sand and stuff that's usually in bricks. We didn't use any sand on this project. So, but the ants will find anything that's fine and just start uprooting it. But when you put that in, it turns into a mortar that stops that. So now we're going to get the polymeric sand. sweep that in the joints, and then we'll run the compactor across it again. All right, so now Cole's putting on the joint polymeric sand. Get upwind. That is some nasty smelling stuff. It'll take us a couple of bags, I would imagine. Right. And then, Jeremiah, this is the traditional way of doing it. Just sweep it in the joints. Now, what would happen if you don't want to do it the traditional way, Jeremiah? What would you use then? Okay, so after we ran the compactor across it, it vibrated everything and it really packed them tight. So then we went over it a third time and we swept it in, and now we fill those joints back up again, and now we're going to water them. So when you do water, you do not want to pour the water at it. You don't want to do something like this where it's just gushing out, okay? What you want is a gentle mist like this, okay? Because if you use the pouring motion, you're going to push it right out of the joints, and it's going to be on top of your brick. And whatever's on top of your brick is going to stay there for a while because it's going to get stuck. As soon as it gets wet, it sticks like glue. So you want to just gently mist all of this stuff right here. And then what we're going to do, we're going to leave this set up for about 15 minutes, and then we're going to come back and we're going to water it again. Okay, time for the seat wall. And this is what we're going to do. You're going to lay your brick out like this, come around on the edge. We're going to make it double wide, okay? And we're going to come up about 4 bricks, and then we're going to have a cap on the top of it. All right? So now we're just going to start placing these all the way around. We're going to have an open entryway here for them to come down off the lawn. And then we're going to continue with the seat wall all the way out to the end. Okay? So let's get started. We've laid out our first set of block. We know where they're going to sit. That's the first thing. You know, we're going to have an opening right here. We know we wanted that. We trimmed off the edges of these brick here. We cut a piece for that. We actually glued this whole side, but I'm going to show you here just how we glue. So Jeremiah, if you indulge me. You don't want to put a big gob out on the front, because if you do, when you put the brick down, it'll squish out, and then you'll see that everywhere. All right? So, don't need a real lot on here. There you go. Be careful, set them right exactly where you want them to be, because otherwise you don't want to put them on the brick and smear them around, you know, because then you'll get glue on the brick where it shows, and that's something you don't want. Stay back from this face. Okay? Alright, just gently pushes them down, put a little pressure on them to squish that glue out a little bit. Okay everybody, we have finished our landscape project for today. Actually took us 2 days, but we were waiting on brick, so that's what took us so long. Otherwise we could have done this in a day. But anyway, the paver's all in, it's all hardened up like a mortar. All of these have been cut, put in place. They've all been glued. We glued every single brick so that nothing should move this seat wall. So now you can sit here around your fire. Everything will be good. So that's that. Time to wrap it up and get home. Now, we need topsoil.